Well, here we are, boys, April 2022, and the sun is about to rise on another season of plastic warfare. Yeah, it's wiffle ball season, boys. Fire me up! Mid-Atlantic wiffle ball moves into 2022, set to be a rock bed for the best wiffle ball talent on the East Coast, and the world, to put it bluntly. There have been a lot of shakeups this offseason with various teams and groups of players. A lot, but not all of these moves have been covered on the channel up to this point. But today, we are going to compile a lot of these offseason moves and how they affect the layout of the competition. Today, we are doing the 2022 MAW Power Rankings. Now, similar to last year, I'm not going to cover every single team because, well, there's a lot, and not all those teams will be playing a complete season, and there will be new additions as the year goes on. Instead, I will be covering what I see as being the top 5 teams in the league, as well as some others that I recommend keeping an eye on, as they could very well be strong contenders. As always, this is just my personal opinion, and I'm sure yours is different from mine, so please let me know what you think down below in the comments. I would really like to know, and with all that out of the way, let's get into the rankings. Coming in at number 5 is a team I talked about last week, the New York Dragons. Going into their 6th season, the Dragons will be rolling with the dual pitching threat of Captain Nick Lee and last year's pickup John Polanco. This offseason, they also added Mike Weiner. While he will only be able to throw 1 to 2 games at the most, I think Mike is that flame-throwing arm that the Dragons can throw in late tournament elimination games to get them over that hump. They also added Frankie Campanella, who is an incredibly underrated bat for those not in the know, and I would regret if I didn't mention the power lefty Mike Bucci. Since his Palisades days, Bucci has been punishing pitchers, and I expect nothing less than that going into 2022. While some people may be surprised to see them on this list, I think this year will be a big breakout year for the Dragons, and they are definitely worthy of this number 5 spot.
Get out!
Next up is a team straight out of the one and only Ridley Park. Coming in at number 4 is the Ridley Park Magic. This 4-man team is made up of some of the most well-known stars from Ridley Park: Sean Bingner, Teddy Dretcher, Cam Farrow, and Noah Silverman. I've talked about Noah before on the channel. This guy is a future top 5 best ace pitchers in the country, in my opinion. That being said, pick your poison with this rotation. All these guys have proven to have the stuff to pitch in crucial games and shut down the competition. Sean Bingner and Cam Farrow offer 2 powerful bats. Cam especially showed relaxed killer instincts in the batter's box last year. Teddy Dretcher has been an MAW vet for going on 4 years now, and offers a nice arsenal of pitches and has a wonky delivery that can be hard for batters to get a beat on. Overall, this team is looking really stacked. A Ridley Park team hasn't won a tournament since the long balls at the 2020 opening day. The Aces came the closest with a 2nd place finish at the 2021 Philly Special, and you know who was on that team? Teddy and Cam, half of the Magic squad. All these guys are competitors, and this year they have all the pieces put together to really reach their full potential.
No, I think we should have won it every single year, but now that we're here, it tastes so much better.
Yeah.
This is,
3 years in the making, yeah.
We worked so, yeah. We didn't win it for 3 years, but we waited, we got it.
This is going to be a surprise for some of you. I'm sure you guys were expecting to see the Jugs on here somewhere, but maybe not at number 3. Let's discuss. The Juggernauts are coming off of a monumental season where they won the MAW regular season title and championship, and then capped off the season with their first national title at the United Wiffle Ball NCT. Last year, a huge part of their regular season success was the play of Brian DiNapoli, who is, in my opinion, in the top 5 best 2-way players in the country. He will be returning to the Jugs this year, and on top of that, the Juggernauts also signed Ray Luddick immediately at the close of the NCT. Ray seems like a good addition to the team chemistry-wise, as he and Stant have played together on 10-run rule and Golden Stick. While I doubt he will get many at-bats, Ray will provide cushion to the pitching lineup and they won't have to lean quite so heavily on Ryan McElrath and Brian DiNapoli, who both logged a lot of innings last year. However, the Jugs are going to be in a weird spot for the first few months of the season, as they will be without the elite hitting of Ben Stant, who is getting elbow surgery and won't be available till mid-summer. Looking at it in the long term, depending on how the surgery and rehab goes, if Stant can return to his pitching abilities of a few years back, this will be a huge addition to the team. Stant has a mind for pitch selection, as you see him always talking to the juggernaut pitchers between pitches. He knows how to pick apart batters, and with a healthy arm, could take the role of an ace pitcher for the team. But in the short term, the juggernauts are losing their biggest run producer. On top of this, DNAP also underwent surgery this offseason on his knee, and it is unclear to me when and to what level he will be able to play. This means the Jugs are without their best bat, and in my opinion, their best arm, but also two guys who provide a lot of steady leadership to the team. Now, that was a lot of negatives. Let's talk about some positives. Ryan is an absolute workhorse on the rubber, who gained a lot of velocity last season. At the NCT, he was pumping low 90s 3 games in on Sunday with seemingly no effort. Also, Red Sarnowski has been a dominant pitching arm, and scouting reports say that this offseason, he's been developing a couple new pitches, including a knuckleball. Combined with their new pickup Ray, and also Tim McElrath if needed, the Jugs still have a formidable rotation. And speaking of Tim McElrath, good luck hitting a home run when playing against these guys, because Tim will be robbing home runs for days, just as you saw him do last year. Batting-wise, they have a solid lineup, but the loss of Stant will put a lot of pressure on these guys that wasn't there before. I don't believe that the Juggernauts are a weak team, not at all, clearly. I'm putting them at number 3 in the league, but I think their first few events won't exactly be a cakewalk. One thing I will say though, before we move on, is that they have the unique potential to get even better as the whole season goes on. If DNAP becomes available at 100%, and if Stant comes back, and on top of that is able to pitch, the Juggernauts will be an embodiment of their team name. Next up at number 2, you love him, you hate him, it's Earl. There was a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on with the Earl franchise this year, most notably the departure of their ace Dan Whitener. However, returning would of course be the captain, the scum lord himself, Connor Young, then Kenny Rogers Jr., Mike Stiles, and Johnny Costa. In addition to this, Earl added Rob Wiffman Piervenanzi in January, and a few weeks ago it was announced the team had also added Rob Longeroux. Chemistry-wise, all these guys have rapport with each other and are seasoned vets. Like seriously, the amount of wiffle experience on this team is insane. In terms of hitting, Earl has the 2 best hitters in the country, with Kenny and Wiffman. But they also have arguably the most clutch hitter in the country the past couple years, Rob Longeroux.
We're not done! Let's go! We're not done!
That's why Bob's here. He fits chemistry-wise, and he's here so in the bottom of the last in a tournament finals game, he can hit tanks. Pitching-wise, last year Connor showed that he can pitch during the morning and late into the afternoon, but I don't think he will be their ace. I think that title will go to Mike Stiles, who without the shadow of Dan Whitener will be the go-to guy this season for Earl. And I think he's definitely worthy of that position. He's got the velo, he's got the arsenal, and with the past few years of experience, is ready to show why he's an elite MAW pitcher. Also there to eat up some innings will be Johnny Wiffs and Bob if needed. From top to bottom, this roster is a complete tool set that utilized to its full potential is going to be hard to shut down. Earl is a winning franchise, with 2 MAW championships already under their belt. After the bad taste that 2021 left in their mouth, I think this squad is primed to take back the belt, but it won't be easy as there is one mammoth of a team in their way. Alrighty boys, first 4 teams down, but before we get into my number 1 spot, I want to take a moment to discuss some other teams that didn't quite make the top 5, but definitely are squads to watch out for. First up, we have the Great Lakes Legion. The Legion is going to be a cool team to watch out for. The Midwest team traveling to MAW will feature some KWL vets with the captain Grant Miller and Mike Hogan. Miller has shown his pitching ability with a shutout of the Stompers at the 2021 opening day, and Hogan has done the same, throwing a shutout of his own against the Northern Stars last year at wiffs. They also have the MLW 2021 #1 draft pick with Brendan Baranowski. Also, if able to get his arm healthy, Ethan Weiner could be a solid pitching addition as the season goes on. A cool team with a lot of potential, and last year they also showed that they are definitely capable of upsetting some East Coast powerhouses. The Goon Squad is a personal favorite of mine and the league. They are a very scrappy team that has relied a lot on the incredible pitching of Colin Prentice. This year will be no different, but they have also added the pitching and hitting of Dougie Baker, who played with the team at wiffs. On top of this, in 2021, Andreas Fink was slowly turning into a respectable arm. If Fink and Baker can add some support for Colin, the Goon Squad will definitely be able to last longer in tournaments and probably have some deep runs. I'm gonna be honest here, the Stompers were very close to beating out the Dragons for that number 5 spot, but here we are in the honorable mentions, and the Stompers are a good team this year. They are bringing back the arm of young flamethrower Gino Joseph, and I think he will play a big part in helping the team get over the hump in tournaments, as they won't have to lean entirely on Bryce Clark. If Tom Gannon is able to make it out to tournaments, he, Bryce, and Gino will be a vicious pitching staff. Plus, they still hold the bat of Nate Cruz, who I think is one of the most underrated hitters in MAW right now. The Stompers can definitely surprise a lot of teams this year, and 2022 might just be the year they put it all together and get another belt. Now, coming in at number 1, we have a team that is striking fear into the heart of the competition, and rightfully so. That team is Voodoo, captained by none other than Jordan Robles. This offseason, Voodoo took the Dodgers approach and got everyone. Returning to the team, of course, is Jordan Robles, and then the Georgia All-Star himself, David Road Toast Wood. The added players are as follows: Vin Lee, Devin Torres, Kenny Stengel, and Jeff Lopes. That's it, really. I should just end the video here. Pick your poison with this rotation. 5 out of 6 of these guys on the lineup should be considered aces, and in recent years, Stengel has shown himself to be a more than respectable pool play innings eater as well. On top of that, Stengel might have been a thorn in Voodoo's side last year, but this year, he will be bringing that power righty swing that made him famous in the Palisades. Toast, Robles, Vin Lee, Lopes, and Devin are all incredibly talented pitchers that are familiar with pitching in very high leverage situations. Like I said, pick your poison. Similar to Earl, a big team like this with 6 players strong will only be as useful to the extent that it's utilized by the captain. And as one of the most well-composed players in the country, I have no doubt that Jordan will do just that. The only real Achilles heel to this team might be the availability of Vin and Toast, who will both be making long trips from the south, but even with those two out of the lineup for a tournament or two, this team is formidable at worst and an absolute powerhouse at best. I made the Dodgers comparison at the beginning of this segment, and that's how I want to close it, because just like Dave Roberts gave the firm commitment of a World Series for his team, this is a make or break year for the team. With this amount of talent, the stakes are very high, and anything short of a championship will be a failure. And that could be said for wiffs as well, because I'm pretty sure that at least half of this team, being Robles, Toast, and Vin, will be playing together on the Phenoms. All that to be said, there is a lot of pressure on Voodoo this year to live up to the expectations, but knowing these guys, I think that's what they live for. They will thrive under pressure and show that they can play to those expectations. There it is, guys, the official Wiffle Statement power rankings for the 2022 MAW season. Opening day is April 23rd and set to be a great kickoff to the season that I will be attending. Hope I see you out there, and hope you guys did enjoy this video. I tried to cover a lot of teams here, but I know I did not touch on all of them, so if you would like to deep dive into the competition on your own, be sure to check out all the links down below in the description and knock yourself out. As for myself, my name is Ben and I run Wiffle Statement, your home for top tier content covering whiffs from across the country. Subscribe here on YouTube for amazing wiffle ball content, and you can also follow me on Twitter. And while you're at it, you can also check out my team's TikTok account at AnarchyWiffs. Gonna wrap up the video here, boys. Get out there and play some whiffs, and I'll be talking to you guys soon. Goodbye.